today, Marchment. Eric's home.
Oh, it's all right, Duck. I don't feel like it today. Hey, how about this?
Oh.
Finer than nylon, finer than rayon. In fact, it's made of genuine cobwebs. Wear this and Eric can always be home.
No, thank you. Here, bring it back next week and I'll let you have some on the arrears.
Hey, new coat.
What?
Season's latest model.
Oh, no, I daren't. How much is that fur one? Oh, no, don't tell me.
Oh, good afternoon, Mr. McMullen. On strike again. It's all go, innit?
What's y'all doing here? I told Joe not to get anything else from this crook, Sandra. I don't want you calling here. We'll send the payments through the post. You keep calling, she keeps buying. She'll finish up with red in a gas oven like Mrs. Hammond.
Oh, come off it, mate. Mrs. Hammond snuffing it don't have nothing to do with me or Finbo's.
Nothing to do with Joe. You run her into so much debt she's round the bend with worry. Goes out to work without her old man knowing. I've seen her running past this gate to get home before he does. For what? This bloody rubbish.
Eric, don't. It's not Mr. Marchmont's fault.
Get it? Shut up. Come back here again and I'll get my rabbit gun to you. And I mean that.
Oh, yeah, the police will have something to say about that, won't they?
The police? Huh. One word out to me. And they want you at that inquest tomorrow. The police. Yeah. Why don't I do that?
Found anything dicey?
Well, it's a matter of opinion.
Yeah. They always look better in their catalogue. Pass me the magnifying glass, will you?
What for?
The small print. No, that's all right. Oh, there's nothing actually illegal in Mrs. Hammond's agreement, sir?
They don't read the agreements. Don't realize what they're letting themselves in for.
And for what, sir? It makes you sick. All this chromium-plated rubbish. Toasters, tea makers, all the rest of it. Look at the radios. No, they don't last as long as the installments. It was another doorstep fraud that drove her to it. Whatever the verdict.
Well, according to Marchmont's evidence at the inquest, she only owed £40.
£40? That's 6 months' rent to some people, sir.
I think he was lying, that tally boy. He seemed very nervous.
Very likely. It was £40 in the book, but God knows how much unofficially. Well, it's their job to keep people in debt, sir.
Gamble, that is not illegal.
But it depends how they do it, sir. If they can avoid the HP laws, they will. I'd like to follow this one up, sir. Vicky, go round and see Mr. Hammond, will you? Find out exactly what his wife was paying. Try and get hold of her payment card. They can stretch from here to eternity. Before one debt's paid off, they find themselves conned into something else they can't afford.
There's nothing fraudulent in that.
They'll even pay the deposit out of their own pockets just to get the commission.
Yes. Yes, you could get him for that.
Do you manage all right, coming home to housework every day?
I haven't noticed it yet. Sort of automatic. Stops me thinking too much. I didn't go in today. One of the kids in bed with flu.
Oh, dear. Hey, where do these go? Place for everything. Was your wife a good manager?
I think so.
You said in court she got herself into a mess, financially.
Well, she must have got it straight. Finbo sent a paid-up receipt for everything. After she died, she must have cleared it all.
May I see it?
I'll speak so if I can find it. It'll be over here with everything else.
But it doesn't show installments or the amount involved. That's not very businesslike, is it?
It says account now cleared. That's the main thing. The letter's from the managing director herself, Kathleen Finbo.
She owed them £40. It's a bit of a coincidence, isn't it? Such a long-standing account finishing when it did.
Oh, I suppose I'll have to tell you. Midgie wouldn't kill herself over the money. There was somebody else. Somebody she was seeing. It's got nothing to do with any debts. I couldn't tell the coroner that, could I?
Sorry.
She wasn't in love with anybody else. She wasn't happy. She was miserable. If I brought her flowers or did anything special for her, she cried. Guilty conscience, I suppose. When I found she'd taken a job, I shouted at her, our first real quarrel. She kept telling me to hit her. She wanted me to punish her.
Oh, I'm sorry I dragged all this up.
I wanted to talk about it. wondering who it was. She never ever saw anybody.
What about at work?
Yeah.
How much did she earn at this job?
7 or 8 quid a week.
Have you got her Finbo payment card?
No, he collected it the other day. That bloke Marchie wanted to have it receipted. Said he'd send it back.
And he hasn't?
No. Oh, I don't know. Those boys are up to all sorts of tricks.
James Patching died. Well, that ain't very nice. Passed away. That's better. May 20th. Oh, Agnes Freebody. Blimey, I bet you had to fight him off with a name like that. Passed away? I shall think so and all. Oh. Hello, Vicar.
Hello, Marchmont. What are you up to? Relatives?
Well, you could say that, couldn't you? I mean, we're all relatives, ain't we? No man is an island, eh, Vicar? Oh, how's the washing machine going in, eh?
Oh, round and round.
Oh, you're getting better, ain't you?
Thank you.
Very good. White as the lamb himself, eh? It's a bit damp, ain't it? How about a nice spin dry?
No, thank you.
Oh, you'll regret it if you catch cold, Vicar. After all, we don't want you joining the vast majority, do we?
Mrs. Finbo, please.
Oh, this way. Did you wish to open an account?
No, I'm from the police.
Oh. Would you wait a moment, please? I'll just see if Mrs. Finbo's in. Mrs. Finbo? There's a young lady from the police station.
Detective Sergeant Hicks. Hello? It's about Mrs. Margaret Hammond. We're looking into her affairs. Thank you, Gloria.
The inquest did that. I sent a representative. What is this, a disinterment or just an afterthought?
It's a routine inquiry. I have instructions to look at Mrs. Hammond's account with you and to examine her payment card.
Have you? And you think you can just walk in and look at my accounts?
Is there any reason why I can't?
None, but you'll appreciate I'll have to speak to my solicitor. Will you excuse me? Hello, Arkwright and Levy. This is Mrs. Kathleen Finbo. May I speak to Mr. John Arkwright, please? Paris? Oh, dear, that is a shame. When do you expect him back? I see. Well, perhaps you'd ask him to ring me. Thank you. Can you come back later in the week? Of course, he may not be back, but you can try if you like. Otherwise, I'll write to him. We should have a reply by next week.
All I want is to see Mrs. Hammond's account.
Credit agreements are highly confidential. I couldn't show you anything without legal advice.
Mr. Marchmont.
Marchmont, this is Woman Police Sergeant Hicks.
Oh, dear, oh, dear, oh, dear. Now, what's a nice girl like you doing in the police force when there's such a shortage of engine drivers?
She was hoping to look at Mrs. Hammond's payment card.
Mr. Hammond tells me you collected it for receipting.
Oh, yes, supposed it back to him. Hasn't he got it? You'll find the receipt counterfoil in the book.
Well, may I see that?
Oh, if you must. Gloria, dear, the receipt book.
Browning, have we got a 4RT spin dryer? Hey. Oh, you've been sick on your gunsy again.
Oh,
you really are disgusting.
in the stock room. Go on, get it.
Well, where is
Marchmont, are you
it?
sure you filled in a receipt for Mrs. Hammond? There's a blank here.
Oh, lies. Isn't that just like me? I forgot to fill it in, you know.
All right. I'll be back.
Don't worry, I got rid of that card. You didn't want her to see it, did you? We'll have to get together a bit more, won't we? You know, I'm really your type. Why do you fight it? Hey, you know what Browning said? Given a potbelly and a little moustache, I'm the double of your late husband.
And just as big a crook.
How can you say that? Look at this. Another £200 worth of business. Where's the order book?
Who are these people, Marchmont? Are they going to pay their installments this time?
Who cares? Sell them with the business, Duck. It's all turnover. You can clean up and get out before any of these default on the payment.
You've got it all worked out, haven't you?
Uh-huh.
What do you know about my selling out?
Oh, I keep my ear to the ground, that's all. I'm doing it for you. Here. You seen this? It's all coming down this street. There's a road going right through here. If you stand there much longer, Duck, and you'll be slap in the middle of a zebra crossing.
Nothing's going through here, Marchmont, not until I'm ready. I haven't wasted 10 years of my life in a crummy tally shop. Just to see some bulldozer take the place apart for 5 bobs worth of compensation. Anyway, they've been talking about that damned ring road for years.
Well, now they're talking about it again. No, don't worry. It might never happen. Your landlord's got his head screwed on. Nobody's going to slap a compulsory purchase order on Charles Eden. He's got the lowest handicap in the golf club.
Kathleen? Yes, how are you?
You know how I am, Charles. What are you doing about my lease?
Nothing. I'm not doing anything about it at the moment. There's no urgency.
How can you say that? I'm dead if the council get their hands on this shop.
I'm dead if I let you stay on there. I've held up town planning long enough. It hasn't been easy. I'm not helping you anymore. The connection's too obvious.
But I'll lose my buyer. Charles, I've got to see you. I want to talk this out.
I'd rather not discuss it at the moment.
But I'm meeting my buyer later tonight. All I want is one word from you denying these redevelopment rumors. With a guarantee of 5 years clear trading, they'll buy at my price. Surely you can do that for me.
Hello, Arthur. Hello. Oh, have that on me. Another scotch, please.
I suppose I've relied on you too much, Charles. Well, I know I do. I couldn't have carried on the business after George died without your help.
Nothing's changed, Kathy.
I think it has. Perhaps it's me. I was young enough then to interest you.
You still are, Kathy.
No. You can't burn ashes.
I shan't be burning anything for a little while.
What's the matter, Charles? It's not Midge Hammond, is it? If you're not involved in that, there's no possible connection.
There is if I continue stalling the council.
Well, nobody need know about that except my buyer, but there's no connection between us.
No connection? You must be joking. There's one grimy old building and a shop left standing in that desert of rubble. I own it, you rent it. No connection. Sticks out like a sore thumb right where they want to put the new road.
All I want is a piece of paper. A guarantee for my buyer of 5 years clear trading. I don't care what happens to it after I've sold.
If I do you favors, the police are going to wonder what favors you're doing me. They've been to your shop.
Asking about Marchmont, that is all it is, Charles, not you. They don't know anything about you. Anyway, nothing has happened that can't be innocently explained.
Innocent explanations have ruined better men than me. I'm sorry, Kathy, I can't promise you anything on that property. You'll just have to sell out your stock.
But that would ruin me. Your word can make the difference between a £15,000 deal and a cut-price bankruptcy sale.
I can't do it.
Do you know her? I know somebody twice as pretty and much younger. Oh, you need somebody, Charles, to let you forget what happened. Look, I'll show you who it is that the police are interested in. Inspector Gamble. Excuse me. It is Inspector Gamble, isn't it?
Yes, it is.
I hope you'll forgive me. Oh, I expect you're off duty this evening.
I've given up trying to be off duty in this place.
Gamble, do you know Mrs. Kathleen Finbow?
Hello. How'd you do?
I was trying to help your young lady this afternoon.
Yes, she told me.
What a pretty girl.
I hope you didn't try and sell her anything.
Inspector Gamble does not like our business. Or perhaps it's just our salesman. Your young lady was asking about our Miss Marchmont.
And I understand from our young lady that you weren't very helpful.
Well, I couldn't very well. He came in. He worries me. Oh, he's a good salesman, but I'm afraid he could give us a bad name.
Oh?
Yes. He's a bit of a heartbreaker, I believe.
Are we talking about Mrs. Hammond?
Good heavens, I hope not. Is that really what you think?
What are you trying to tell me, Mrs. Finbow? Something about Marchmont?
Well, I'm not really even sure that it is Marchmont. I've been caught several times recently for goods that haven't been paid for. First, Marchmont can't find the people, then he finds they've moved, and I can't get them traced.
I should have thought that was an occupational hazard in tally selling.
Yes, it is. But in 1 or 2 cases, the defaulters have been dead.
That happens too.
I mean, dead before the order was given? The order was given in a dead person's name. Like this one. £100 worth of luxuries for an ex-inmate of an old folks' home.
This used to be Mr. Jollyboy's room, Inspector. He was with us for 5 happy years before he passed away. That was in February, during the cold spell. We gave him a lovely funeral, and then Mr. Christian moved in here. They used to be great friends, you see. Mr. Christian used to be a bank manager. He knows he's not allowed to eat in his own room, but we try to be lenient. So you see, Inspector, there is nowhere to put £100 worth of domestic appliance. It must have been some joke. Mr. Jollyboy had no living relatives. Not many of them have, or if they have, we never see them, do you see?
Yes,
and we all come to the end of the road, quite alone, as we started. Oh, don't drop crumbs everywhere, Mr. Christian. We shall have to call in your overdraft again. That always makes him laugh, you see, Inspector. No, Inspector, door-to-door salesmen never call here. Nobody calls.
Gamble, get rid of him. I won't do neither of us any good.
I've got nothing to hide anyway. He's come to see you. Well, do you see anything you like?
It's funny you should say that. I can't see anything I like.
Well, I admire honesty, even when it's insulted.
You know, if they don't pull this place down soon, it's going to fall down.
Well, why don't you come over here? It's safer.
I made some inquiries for you. Jolly Boy, as you said, he was dead before the order was placed. I'd like to know who ordered the goods and who took delivery. Is Mr. Marchmont around?
Marchmont! Oh, there you are. You'll want it. You nasty little earthworm. I'll squeeze all your meat up one end. Oh, Inspector Gamble, what can I do for you?
Is this one of your orders, Mr. Marchmont?
No.
You haven't looked at it yet.
I don't have to, do I? All my sales documentation is safely under lock and key. Otherwise, certain prying, chiseling old has-beens will be pinching my customers. Mention no names and watch where the eyes go.
I took that out of your file.
Oh, hell, there's only one key. Yes, I begin to understand why you're here, officer. Yes, that's mine. Anything else of mine? Confidential correspondence, bank statements, peppermint creams.
I refuse to feel guilty, Marchmont. This is my shop.
You see what I'm up against? Ah, yes, Mr. Jollyboy. Telephone order turned out to be a hoax. I get a lot of those. Jealous colleagues, envious competitors, mentioning no names again. Luckily, I checked up on it before the order went out.
Are you sure?
Did you find a delivery note or an invoice in the file? No. Has Gloria made out a payment card? No.
There is nothing to show that those goods didn't leave the shop.
And there's nothing to show that they did.
Well, it looks as though you're outnumbered on this one. Perhaps I can see some more. We'll talk in your office.
Oh, you better take the keys this time. Don't want to pick any locks in front of the inspector, do we? And while you're at it, tell him about your white slave business and the Garden of Eden. I've got all the details if he wants them.
What did he mean, white slave business?
Oh, that's just Marchmont. It's his name for the fur coat trade. Not that we sell very many, and it's mainly rubbish.
You mean it's a swindle?
I think it is, but people buy them. Rabbit, Nile fur, mock mink.
You don't have a very high opinion of your own business, do you?
It was my husband's business. I've built it up, and now I'm ready to get out and go into something respectable. If I can succeed in a tally shop, I can succeed anywhere. I've got a future in business. If they'll just give me the chance to sell out. No, Inspector, I'm afraid there doesn't seem to be anything more
Just
here.
a minute, Mrs. Fimbo. You told me that you'd been swindled.
Well, if I have, there isn't any evidence. I shall have to deal with it in my own way.
He threatened you, didn't he? Is that why there's suddenly no evidence?
I'm afraid my life isn't so interesting, Inspector. Not yet.
And what did he mean by the Garden of Eden? Charles Eden?
Are you insulting my friends? I come to you with a tally boy fiddle, and you associate Charles Eden with it? Why don't you suggest it to him, Inspector? Or better still, get the chief constable to mention it. They play golf together.
Squash. The chief constable plays squash rather badly.
I don't think I have anything more to say to you, Inspector.
All right, but don't think you can use me. You tried to frighten your chiseling tally boy Romeo. Instead, he frightened you. And I intend to find out why, Mrs. Finbo.
It's all right, mate. See yourself out, can you?
Mr. Marshman, I want to see your order book.
Oh, I bet you do. So does he. See, diddly ears prick up. Oh, that's funny. I've lost it. Anybody see me order book?
Top pocket, left-hand side.
Been creeping around the washroom while I got soap in my eyes. Ah, yes. Well, if I find it, Inspector Gamble, I'll let you know.
When I come back, I'll help you find it with a search warrant.
That's a spin dryer for the vicar. He's beyond reproach. I'll vouch for him.
Come.
Well, Gamble, who have you been upsetting? I've had the Chief Constable's office on to me this morning.
Mrs. Finbo, she asked me to help her and then changed her mind. Who made the complaint?
Her solicitor. All the evidence on Mrs. Hammond was given at the inquest. Unless you've got anything definite against Mrs. Finbo, I suggest that you leave her alone.
Sir, she approached me, asking me to help her. Now she's being obstructive and wants me to drop the case, and I want to know why. There was something in that crack Marchmont made about white slaves.
White slaves. Look, Gamble, I know this job gets a bit dull sometimes, but really, this is just wishful thinking, isn't it?
Mrs. Finbo, please. Over there. Thank you.
Hello, Mrs. McMullen?
Yes, I got your card. Is it about the arrears?
Arrears? No, the new season's coats have just come in. Mr. Marchmont said you've been inquiring. Sandra, isn't it?
That's right.
Come and have a look, Sandra.
Oh, that'll be fatal, Mrs. Finbo. Once I set my eyes on something I like, I've got to have it.
Haven't you got pretty hair?
Oh. Oh, they're lovely. Oh, but I couldn't add anything more. I'm paying 30 shillings a week as it is now.
Well, why don't you just try one on? How about that one?
Oh, gosh. It's fantastic. Oh, I shouldn't put it on. I'll never get it off now.
That really is you, isn't it?
Oh, the coat is. The price isn't really me, though.
35 shillings a week.
Oh, I couldn't. Eric doesn't know about the other yet. He'd go mad if he found out. Oh, I'm sorry, Mrs. Finbo. I really can't afford it this time.
You work, don't you?
Yeah.
Couldn't you earn a bit more?
Well, I just do part-time at the factory. I can only get Rupert in the nursery in the mornings.
Have you ever thought of doing a little part-time domestic work? I have a friend who pays very well.
Oh, it is a fantastic coat. Oh, what sort of work? Cleaning and that?
Oh, very light duties, couple of hours here and there. It'd pay for this, and for the other things, too. I tell you what, why don't you pop over and see him? No, keep the coat on, you look lovely in it. You can drop it into me tomorrow, that is, if you don't want it.
Well, how can I explain it to Eric?
I'll give you a cheap price ticket. This is his card. I'll ring him and let him know you're on your way.
Charles Eden?
That's right. Delmont Avenue. Smile nicely. He might even buy that for you.
Oh. He won't want me to do anything tonight, will he? Only I've got me Eric's tea at 7, you see.
Ask Hicks to run these figures through the machine for me, will you? Where is she?
I've got her out following Marchmont, sir.
What do you mean, on his tally round?
Deliveries. If his customers are dead, I want to know where he delivers the goods. Well, he must flog them to somebody.
Gamble, if you're going to follow up every tally boy fiddle, you've got a lifetime's work ahead of you. It isn't worth it.
Isn't it? A woman died, sir, and maybe because of a tally boy fiddle.
All right, spare me the conscience. What do you hope to get him for?
Well, it's not just Marchmont I'm interested, sir, at the moment. There's something else going on, to do with Mrs. Finbo.
Such as?
Well, I don't know yet, sir, but she's far too inconsistent, even for a woman. Now, first she obstructs Hicks on the Hammond inquiry, then the same evening she comes to me making accusations against Marchmont. And then for no apparent reason, she retracts them. Hello, Gamble speaking. Oh, hello, Hicks. Where are you?
I'm in Worcester.
Lot 15.
Marchmont's having a van load of Finbo stuff sold by auction. If he's a crook, he's one of the most audacious ones I've ever met. He's sitting in there, smoking Havanas and starting the bidding himself.
£20. Any advance on £20? £30. A fully automatic dishwasher going for £30. Going, gone. Lot 16.
Mrs. Finbo.
There she is.
Yes?
My name's Hammond. The wife used to be a client of yours.
I was terribly sorry, Mr.
How much did she owe you?
Well, I really can't remember. Gloria's shop.
I've come to see you. I'll wait.
Will you excuse me, please?
I just found a whole attic full of stuff. Fur coat, undies, shoes, dresses, midges, I mean. It's practically new. There must be over £100 worth.
Her account is fully paid up, Mr. Hammond. You have nothing to worry about.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. Why should she hide them in the attic?
I don't suppose she wanted me to know. We could never afford anything like that.
Your salesman told the coroner's court she only owed you £40.
But that's rubbish. The coat's worth 50. I can't think what made her buy it. And the dresses. 2 ball gowns. She never went to balls. Dancing shoes, fur-lined boots. I can't think when she ever wore them.
In front of her wardrobe mirror, probably. Your Mr. Marchmont did a bit of overselling.
Underprivileged housewives frequently overbuy. It's a kind of disease. Mr. Hammond, I will tell you something now that I didn't want to mention. I realized that your wife had run you into a lot of debt, and so I paid the account myself.
Oh, you shouldn't have done that. I could have. Well, it's very good of you.
That doesn't sound like your sort of business, Mrs. Finbo. You oversell and then pay off the debt yourself.
One can't make a kind gesture these days without a lot of bureaucratic ferrets sniffing around. I hope that clears it up for you, Mr. Hammond. Are you trying to make trouble for me? God help you if you are. You tell your Inspector Gamble that there is such a thing as police victimization, and I know how to stop it.
I'll tell him. Can I talk to Mr. Marchmont?
Mr. Marchmont is not available.
Can you tell me where to find him?
If I knew, I wouldn't tell you.
Then I'll tell you. He's selling off your equipment at a private auction sale in Worcester.
So you have been following him, right. Now that is all I need.
Well, go on. I'd like to see exactly which string it is you pull.
Get out.
Aren't you going to make any charges against Mr. Marchmont?
Mr. Marchmont is selling shop-soiled equipment for me. Now, will you get your nose out of my business?
Well, I'll be glad to when the time comes. I think it's your customers who are inclined to get shop-soiled. Marchmont is robbing you, and you can't do a thing about it. We're going to find out why.
There's your blooming rabbit fur, and you know what you can do with it, don't you? What sort of a girl do you think I am? Domestic work?
Come into the office.
I'm not staying in this rotten brothel. I'm a respectable married woman. Oh, it's corny, but it's honest. And if old Charles Eden wants a scrubber, you go.
For you, Mrs. Finbo, Ministry of Town and Country Planning.
Oh, my God, that's all I need. Notice of demolition.
I think it's that idiot Marchmont.
Fancy playing tricks like that when it's a matter of life and death.
I bet that frightened you, didn't it? Hold on, Kathy. It was a joke. Hey, listen, I'm at Granger's garage. My windscreen shattered. I'm having another one. Did you? What?
I said the hell with your windscreen. I know where you are and what you've been doing. Auctioning off goods stolen from me and phony orders. The police followed you to Worcester. They want me to prosecute.
So what? What did they say when you refused?
Don't be so bloody smug. The whole thing is out of my hands now. Sandra McMullen is with the police.
Sandra? Ah, you didn't try Sandra. I could have saved you the time. And don't get me mixed up with that bracket, neither, Kathy.
You are in it, Marchmont. Midge Hammond's husband's been here.
Sir, that wasn't a stone that shattered your windscreen. It was a bullet. The lad found it in amongst the broken glass. Are you all right?
Kathy? Just been shot at. Bloody great cannonball!
I don't know why you're surprised. Mr. Hammond can't be the only person in this town with an attic full of our junk. There must be plenty of husbands around who hate your guts. Now, you help me, and I'll help you get out of town. Leave that van where it is, and go and see Charles Eden at the Cavendish Club. He'll be there at 7. You can be tough with him. I can't. Tell him that Sandra has gone to the police. Tell him that if he doesn't give me a guarantee of tenancy, the whole thing will come out. All about Midge Hammond, and what she did, and who paid up her account, and I mean it.
All right, I'm saying, but I'm not guaranteeing nothing. Has he got a gun? This is what you'll do, Kathy. Put a cheque for 200 quid in the post, salary and commission. No, don't tell it to me, Almudred. Hang on, I'll give you the hotel.
Had she ever sent you anywhere before?
Course not. Bet she has others, though.
And what makes you say that?
Well, it was obvious, wasn't it? What are you, he said, a lovely typist or a glamorous cleaner? He was looking at me legs. It's a real Bluebeard's chamber.
What happened then?
Well, I asked him what he wanted doing. Well, I had me Eric's tea at 7, you see. He'd have slaughtered me if he knew where I was.
You asked Mr. Eden what he wanted doing, and what did he say?
I told you what he said. That's when I hit him.
You mean he made an indecent suggestion?
At his age, it was indecent. Wonder how many of her clients work off their arrears like that.
That explains Mrs. Hammond's suicide.
I won't get mixed up in any court case, will I?
Did Charles Eden offer you any money?
I'd have crowned him.
Nor Mrs. Finbar?
No. She said it would pay off me account. Said he might buy me the coat. Well, I didn't understand her. Not till I got there.
Right, well, thank you very much for coming along, Mrs. McMullen. We'll try not to involve you any more than we have to.
Thank you.
Is it monstrous, or is it just me?
I think it's monstrous.
What kind of a woman's Kathleen Finbar? Feeding Christians to lions just to save her potty little business. The Hammond woman killed herself.
Well, at least we can see Marchmont and Eden and face them with it. But what can we do about Mrs. Finbar?
I know what I'd like to do. I'd like to hit her right in the Emporium with a big 6-lane ring road. Hello, Gamble speaking. Yeah? Right, thanks, Ted. Somebody's just shot at one of Finbar's vans. Divisional CID thought we ought to know.
I don't want to sound hopeful, but did it hit anyone?
No, I'm afraid not. Look, I'd better get down there. See if you can find Hammond, will you, and bring him in.
He was scared out of his life. He ran out of here like the clappers of hell when they owned him.
Have you got the bullet?
No. Marchman took it with him. He said he was going to have it set in a gold eternity ring.
I see.
He was driving back from Worcester, apparently.
Yes, I know. He'd been to a sale. Looks as if he got rid of a lot of stuff. Agnes Freebody, James Patching, Elijah Jollyboy. They sound dead to me. James Patching, Agnes Freebody.
Hello, Inspector. Are you after somebody?
It'd be a bit late for that, wouldn't it? No, I'm just tidying up a case.
Oh?
Oh, this is just a small part of a big jigsaw. The man must be sick. He could have made these names up out of his own head.
You're not talking about Marchmont by any chance, are you?
Yes. You know him?
We've had a few things off him. Sold my wife some hair rollers. There was a short circuit. It was very nasty.
He's in a nasty business.
Perhaps if I could talk to him.
Yes. If you could find him.
Damn.
I'd like a single room for one night, please. One with bulletproof windows, chains on the door.
An hot and cold chambermaid's ladle.
I'll just have a look, sir. A gun? I haven't got a gun. I wouldn't know what to do with it. Look, what's going on? What are my kids going to think? You're not searching the house. I'm sorry, Mr. Hammond, but we can't afford to take any chances when there's been a shooting. Shooting? Who's been shot then? Mr. Marchmont. Who? Finbow's salesman. You remember? Oh, Marchmont. Did they? Was he hurt? Only his windscreen. Shattered. Oh, that's nasty. Is that his surname? Marchmont? I thought it was his first name. The wife always called him... Marchie. What made you come to me? I'm checking up on all his regular customers. He made enemies. How? Oh, I know what you think. Maybe you're right. Mrs. Finbow didn't pay off Midge's account. He did. Got her into debt and then took advantage of her. She wasn't working at all. Mr. Hammond, there's no point in your worrying about it now. It's our job now, and we've got it in hand. Get Mr. Hammond a car, will you? I'd rather walk.
Laurie, don't forget the mail.
All right, Mrs. Finbow.
Case again?
Well, too bad. We're shut.
Mrs. Finbow! Open the door, please.
Hark at that. Just listen. You'd think this was a nightclub or a den of thieves. Oh, open it before he knocks the door down.
I expect they're after Marchman. I'd like to see him go inside for 6 months.
Where's Marchman?
I've no idea. He doesn't work here anymore.
Since when? He was working for you this afternoon in Worcester.
That was his last job.
I'm not surprised.
I don't care what you think, Inspector. I don't have to give you my reasons.
I'd like to speak to your staff. Would you come here a moment? Marchman phoned you, didn't he, this afternoon from the garage? Told you he'd been shot at.
Oh, was he hurt?
No, he was lucky.
I bet that was that chap with the toaster, you know, wouldn't work, kept popping up. He used to follow March in a great big American car.
He lost his license for speeding. He had to leave the country.
No, I know it was. Remember that chap Marchie gave that Buddy Holly LP to his girlfriend? Or was it Mrs. Maidstone again?
Or was it Tom Hammond? You remember, his wife. She got into debt, and you let her work it off with Charles Eden, just to keep him sweet and your business intact. What kind of a woman are you? What's up there that's so important?
You wouldn't understand, Inspector Gamble.
Now, don't tell me you didn't wear shoes until you were 10.
4.
Well, don't tell me, tell Tom Hammond. Maybe he'll cry. And you? Don't think she'll have any consideration for you. She's got no favourites. When she's finished with you, you'll be out on your necks. So if you know anything about Midge Hammond, now's the time to tell me. Well, where can I find Marchmont?
He's at his digs, I expect.
No, he left them a half an hour ago.
Now, perhaps you will let me close my shop.
I wish I could close it for you.
Try the Cavendish Club, 7 o'clock. If he don't show up, I'll let you know where to find him.
Isn't he rotten? Don't worry. Marchie wouldn't say anything.
Another 24 hours, and it won't matter.
May I sit down, or are you expecting somebody?
No, nobody. Please do.
Marchman should be here at 7. I believe he's coming here to see you.
Kathleen Salesman? Why should he want to see me? I don't know him.
But he knows you. It's my guess he's coming here to blackmail you.
Blackmail?
Well, let's say to put the pressure on, to lean on you. It might have something to do with Mrs. Hammond, Midge Hammond. You knew her, didn't you?
She once did some work for me. Is there anything wrong with that?
Only you can know that, Mr. Eden. I'm chiefly interested in Finbows. If Marchmont does come here, I'd like to hear what he's got to say.
He's hardly likely to incriminate himself in front of you.
He won't see me.
I don't much like the idea.
And I don't much like your au pair system, Mr. Eden. You don't really want to appear in court, do you?
I haven't much choice, have I?
Be a little hard of hearing, all right?
Yes, I understand.
Sorry to intrude, sir. Can you spare me a moment?
I beg your pardon?
I've got a little business proposition I'd like to discuss with you. My card?
Mr. Marchmont? Oh, make yourself comfortable.
Like a drink?
You can't order a drink here, it's a club.
Oh.
What do you want to talk to me about?
I want to buy the lease on Mrs. Finbow's shop.
You want to buy it? No, thanks. It's coming down. It's a redevelopment area.
That's why I want to buy it. The sooner it comes down, the better. I want one of them new shops the council are putting up. Old leaseholders are getting first priority at competitive prices, a sort of rehousing concession.
That's perfectly true.
Well, there you are, you see. Your hearing's getting better already, ain't it?
What does Mrs. Finbow have to say about all this?
She don't know, does she? I mean, she just wants to sell the business. It's a funny thing, I don't think she likes this business very much, thinks it's beneath her. Well, all I want is my name on that lease. It's worth nothing to you. Nominal compensation, that's what the council will give you, £100 at most. Yes, 500. Cash in hand, printed it myself, of course. Shake hands on this and it's a deal, gentleman's agreement. Oh, that's nice, telepathic waiter and all.
All right, you can leave the drinks. Scotch all right for you?
Sir. Get some matches.
He saw your drink. I think he's gone. I'm sorry, he was a bit quick off the mark.
Quick off both marks, like the Vicar of Bray. And I'll bet Mrs. Finbow didn't send him here to cut the ground from under her feet. Who gets the shop?
Neither of them. It doesn't belong to me. I'm going abroad, Inspector. I need a little sunshine. I made the lease over to the local authorities weeks ago.
3 weeks, for instance? After the funeral? Well, at least we're shut of that rat trap.
I've got another appointment. You will excuse me, won't you?
So what's the matter? Shop's coming down, Marchmont's on the run. Why so gloomy? You've done a good job.
But I can't bring any charges, sir.
Mrs. Finbow might take action if she knew the grand total, £2,500.
Yes, we got these figures from the auction room, sir. Marchmont has been holding sales for the past 6 months.
Case of the pot working for the kettle, isn't it? No wonder he's got enough money to go into business. I know how you feel, Gamble. I don't like to see him get away with it.
Talk of the devil?
What's that?
It's a letter addressed to Marchmont, redirected to you, care of Inspector Gamble.
Somebody at Finbow's wants you to find him.
Well, there must be a letter. What's happened to the post?
That's what the whole country is asking, isn't it? Why come to me, sir? I'll get you a bit, sir.
We'll have another look. It might have slipped down somewhere. It's got a very thin check in it. I must have it before I go. Oh, isn't it marvellous? Don't stay here, mate. They keep your mail. Look, I'm going abroad. I've got to be at the airport in half an hour.
You'll never make it.
Oh, no. Oh, no. Not you, Grumble. Look, you wait right here. I'll go and see if I can find the postman.
I've brought it, by hand. Is this what you're looking for? Your payoff?
Oh, very much, Inspector. I knowed you was going to do that. My mum used to do that at bath time. Where are we going to start, then? Let's not hold hands, Doc. You'll have everybody talking.
Hotel Unicorn, reception. Who, madam? I'm afraid Mr. Marchmont just left.
Is he coming back? Has he checked out? Did he leave a message?
I don't know, madam. Somebody called for him. He took his suitcase. No message.
Somebody called for him.
Are you talking to yourself? I do that. Who've you got in there, me mum says? I prefer an upstairs love. Oh, there was a call for you.
But I asked
It
you...
wasn't Marchmont, from your solicitors. Can Mr. Eden come to the meeting this afternoon? Something about your buyer and the tenancy. Is that important?
Depends what Marchmont said to Charles last night. Sounds as though he's been arrested.
Who, Mr. Eden?
Marchmont. I told him to speak to Charles. I might have known he'd go too far. Why doesn't he answer? I'll try the car.
Machine electric or accessories? Why only 3 spin dryers?
The vicar had one.
What's going on?
Stock taking.
Stop taking me. I see. It's not me, it's them.
Mrs. Fimbo, Marchmont has sold £2,500 worth of your stock in private auctions. Well, are you going to make a charge?
No, he sold it for me.
Last night at the Cavendish Club, he tried to buy your ground lease from Charles Eden.
You love...
I was doing it for you, wasn't I?
You should have told me. This is all private business, Inspector. I really don't know why you're here.
I was coming to that.
Well, say it quickly and go. Carry on. I have to have this stock list finished by lunchtime. I'm completing the sale of the business this afternoon.
You're wasting your time. Charles Eden has sold the lease to the council. In fact, he sold it several weeks ago, after Mrs. Hammond killed herself.
Cunning old soldier.
This is one of your nasty CID bluffs. You're trying to stop this sale going through.
Charles Eden has gone abroad.
That figures.
What happened last night? Why should he suddenly rush off like that? He knew about this meeting. He knew I'd need him.
Well, I shouldn't think he's gone for the good of his health. Anything can happen if you're mixed up in this business. I missed death by 2 inches yesterday.
Fimbo, don't you understand you're wasting your time? This place is coming down whether you like it or not, and there's nothing you can do about it. So why don't you charge him? He's got nothing on you and nothing on Eden. We know it all.
I'm not finished yet, Inspector. I've got other friends, influential friends.
Just as long as I keep my mouth shut, Duck. One word from me about your carryings on, you won't have a friend left.
All right, Marchmont. You win. But get out, and quick.
I've been looking for you, Marchie. You don't want me, mate. Tell him, Cathy, it wasn't me, it was Eden. He paid all the bills. She was working for him. But tell him, Inspector, I never touched your wife. I loved her. I mean, I liked her. Well, don't just stand there, you haven't.
He's right. It wasn't Marchmont. He may have got her into debt, but that's all.
It's true. Mrs. Fimbo set it up for Charles Eden. He paid off the account.
Nobody made her do anything.
You told me to get her hooked up in a fur coat, then bunged up installments and offer an easy way out. Easy?
Now you know who's responsible. I'm sorry.
Now you can take the consequences. I'm charging him with theft, Inspector.
Oh, you'll have quite a lot to say about that in court, in front of the press.
Get out, all of you!
See one of my friend left when I finished
You
talking.
can't hurt me, Marchmont. I'll still find a buyer. I'll still sell this place. With the friends I've got, I don't need you. I don't need Charles Eden. I don't need anybody. It'll take more than the council to put me out of business. This is a valuable property.
Hard luck, Cathy. The good Lord destroyed Pompeii.
These days, it's the borough surveyor.
Just 1 minute, Inspector. I haven't finished yet.